Well, hello everybody and welcome to the live stream. I literally just got done doing a little Instagram live stream behind the scenes before I got started with this live stream. It's a little bit meta. It's really fun. But we got people jumping in the chat, in the live stream chat right now from all over the place. We have, let me see, Brian M saying hello. Let me know where you're coming from. And I love all the emoji. Let's go emoji town. Just send me all your emojis, but tell me where you're coming from, because Login Kenstatin is coming from Romania, and it seems that's military time. Seems pretty late at night for him. Okay, that's pretty awesome. Vesto is in the house. So Humsta is in the house. Faizan is in the house. Hey, the Marine from Texas is in the house. That's awesome. And you know what? He has a special icon, avatar, and colored name because he's one of my members. So if you don't know what that's all about, hit that little join button. You can be either a supporter or an insider. You get not only cool little avatars and access to GIFs and emoji you can put in the chat, but you can also put in, you get behind the scenes footage. You get the design files actually for today's video, which is going to be really cool. So check that out if you're interested. Let me see. So Hamsta is from England. We got Danielle from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Blake from Charlotte, North Carolina. That's right around the corner from me. Hello from, Diego says, from Bogota, Colombia. Oh, that's really cool. Hood Ideas from Kuwait. Well, hello, everybody. I have a very itchy nose right now. I don't know why, but we are getting started with the chat and with the live stream today. Here's the plan for the day. Plan for the day is to design a watch interface. Let me kick over. You can see really quickly my starting file for my watch interface. Okay. So I have an empty artboard. I have some icons down here that I'm probably going to be using throughout this little experiment of ours. And then I have like this big watch. So we're going to do some stuff where we present the work too. Okay, so that's gonna be pretty fun. I'm pretty excited. We're pretty much all set to go, but we're also going to be doing some portfolio reviews at the end of this live stream, which should be about 35 or 45 minutes. So if you want your portfolio to be reviewed, to get some feedback and critique from me right here live on the stream, then go down in the description of this video and hit that little link that says share your portfolio. It's a little Google form, fill it out, send me your name and your portfolio link, and maybe you'll get featured. It'll be a lot of fun. People come from India, from Lebanon, from Pakistan, from all over the world. People from Norway. I have some friends in Norway I haven't talked to in years. Do you love Norway? And maybe I should check in with them and see how they're doing. Hey, with that being said, why don't we click back over to my screen. We're in Adobe XD today. And again, if you want this starting design file, you can grab it. You just have to become one of my members, either a supporter or an insider. We'll get you access to these starting files as well as behind the scenes stuff and special kind of emojis and stuff you can see, like the Marine from Texas up above in the chat. So we have our design and we're just gonna be riffing on some ideas. This is not like a client project that it's not a client project I'm working on right now. It's just, I don't know, we're just trying stuff. We're just having fun. I don't design a lot of watch interfaces, but I think it's important to do stuff that you don't usually do. So that's kind of the goal for today, is to just mess with some stuff, have some fun, okay? Okay, I'm just gonna kick myself over to the other side, get out of the way. Why don't we get cracking? I think a good thing to do would maybe, I mean, it's a watch. We should probably have like a time screen, don't you think? I feel like we should. I'm gonna hit T for text. I'm gonna draw a text area. Let's just, whoa, I pressed Z because I was about to zoom in, but I got the letter Z instead. That's okay. We just want to make sure it's nice and big here. Why don't we do a time, like, ooh, somebody was doing something in military time, right? For login, it's 21:31. He said. And we're gonna make that area text, which means as we expand it, so goes the size of our text. In Adobe X, you can use whatever you want today. I'm just using Adobe XD as my design software of choice. I like them all. I like Figma, I like Sketch, I like Adobe XD a whole lot actually, because they got some really new fun features we're gonna play with. Are you doing okay? Brian says, is it the flu? Is it an allergy? No, I think it's just an itchy nose. So thank you for checking up on me. I appreciate that though. So, okay, let's get a little bit more of a nice black color there. We have light. I wish we had something lighter. I tell you what, let's switch fonts to Gotham, because I think when I have Gotham, I have light and I have like extra light. Let's do extra light. And why don't we track out the character spacing here, right here, just to make this look a little nicer. We could use, actually, if it's an Apple Watch, we could use, what's the name? Oh my gosh, San Francisco. San Francisco. There we go, because that's the actual Apple display font, right? That way, that makes way more sense than Gotham. Should we do ultralight? Should we do thin? I think thin, because it's going to have a little bit more contrast here, okay? So let's just bring the size of that up. We want it to be right there in our Apple Watch display. And then why don't we do something underneath? What's today? Today is the 6th of November for me. So I'm gonna grab all that. Let's pick like a neutral color here. And then why don't we bring that typography way down? Now, this is really small, so we're gonna have a contrast problem. Imagine this, okay? Riddle me this, Batman. We're looking at this from this far away. Can you see that subtext? No, you cannot. So we're gonna have to manipulate it a little bit. Let's go up to maybe 14 and let's give it some more legibility by jumping up to like maybe regular. That's gonna be just a little bit more legible in my opinion, okay? Okay, so far so good. We might take it down to 13. I know we're like messing with the fates right now by messing with the legibility, but hey, it is what it is for today's riff on things, okay? I tell you what, let's do this. Maybe we have something that has to do with like steps too, okay? So how many steps have you done? Maybe 1,225 steps. Let's make that kind of smaller. Okay, I'm not doing anything real serious with like typographic scale right now. I'm just kind of riffing ideas. Let's pick a color. We've got some cool colors down here. Why don't we grab this blue color right there? And why don't we do, I have an idea. Let's do like a rip on kind of some rings. So I'm gonna go E for ellipse. I'm gonna draw an ellipse and I can just imagine some rings kind of coming through here. Now what I wanna do is I want to press enter, which turns it into a path. I'm gonna delete these right here because we don't need all that nonsense. And then I'm gonna take the fill away, okay? And then I think that'll be all right. Let's increase the size of that and let's pick a color that looks like it belongs there. We're gonna bring this in, okay? So now all you can see is a ring kind of going around it. Now let's squeeze it in so it kind of, you know, what we should have done is take that down in, like make sure that it's all the right size and proportion, right? Okay, so now we have like rings going, okay? Let's zoom into our ring. I feel like that's a little small. So why don't we go a little bit more like that? Okay. And then what we'll do is let's copy and paste. We have another version of it. So let's just move that out of the way really quick. Let's find our gray color and let's fill it with that same gray background color, shall we? Okay, look, I'm gonna put that up there. I'm going to add a node on there. And then actually, how do you open up a pathway? How do you open up a pathway in Adobe XD? I don't know how to do that. Anybody know how to open up a pathway in Adobe XD? You know what you probably need to do is instead of doing this, you probably just need to take your pen tool out and just draw a path, shouldn't you? Probably. Okay, because look, now we could do something like that. So that's actually what we should have done, okay? Whoa! Let's get rid of this one. This might be a little bit uneven though. Did I mess it up somehow? Man, we are just struggling today. I'll tell you what, let's try that one more time, okay? I'm gonna go from the very bottom to the top. I'm gonna round it out. I'm gonna come back to the very bottom corner. Then I'm gonna grab my node here and just make sure it's in the middle. How do I know if it's in the middle? Boy, oh boy, we're gonna have to come up with some solutions here right now, shouldn't we? Okay, let's just draw 92 and 92. So now we know where the very center is. I just drew out a smart guide and I can grab my node and just lock it onto the middle, okay? This is gonna be much better. I can get my smart guide out of there by dragging it away. And again, we're gonna go through that same process. Let's just make it a little bit thicker. And why don't we give it butt ends just because, you know, just because, and it's looking a little shallow, so let's raise it up so we get that nice circle vibe out of it. And let's Command C, Command V, or Control, depending on what operating system you are on. And why don't we grab our blue color, because then we should be able to, right, we're here, we should be able to add another node now, and come down here and delete this node, and we have that butt end, that butt cap, excuse me. And we don't want this background to be that dark. We want it to be a little bit lighter, and maybe, honestly, we might need to cheat. Maybe even a little bit lighter. Something like that, okay? Now, let's grab the two of those, group them together, Command or Control C, Command or Control V, and let's shrink this bad boy down so that it fits right underneath. See that? That's gonna look pretty sweet. But now let's take one of these other colors, maybe this red one like that. Boom, boom, boom. Let's zoom in so we can see what we're actually working on. And I'm just thinking these are still too visible. We want them to be barely there kind of thing, right? Okay, let's go a little bit more. I do want a little bit of separation in between the rings. Let's just do one more. Whoop, something like that, and you bring it down. Just manipulating this size until we get something that we're looking for like that. Okay, so far so good, kind of good. Okay, so now we got some rings. We could grab all three of them if we want and bring up the size to make sure the ends are falling off the edge there, and then that could be pretty cool. That could be pretty cool. Let's just stop there. But you know what, actually we need some variance on these activity rings, don't we? So like maybe this one goes to there, and maybe this one goes to there. Okay, something like that. So we see the varying degrees of the rings. That's not perfect by any means, but I'm rushing a whole lot. Now what's really cool about this is you're wondering why I have this Apple Watch kind of like mock-up thing next to it, because I might make sure I have a rectangle behind the whole thing, grab all of it, Command and Control K, make a component out of it, and then look, I can head over to my, let me just get myself out of the way here. Let's head over to my component library here. I can drag a version of it in and then bring it behind. Check it out, we have a little mock-up, right? Pretty cool. Grab it together, move it over here out of the way. That's pretty rad. Now, if we wanted to, we could even use one of Adobe XD's newer features, which is to turn on the 3D transforms like this, and we get our little gizmo, and we can just start messing. Now, this is hard because it doesn't have a lot of dimensionality behind it, which kind of stinks. But, you know, we could do something like that and put it into a really cool mock-up. That could be pretty cool. If you don't like that, you just right-click, reset the 3D transforms, and it's back to being that flat, awesome transform kind of thing. Okay. Let's keep cruising, shall we? Let's do something else. We had this little Visa thing down here, so why don't we do a payment kind of thing? Let's get rid of our rings. We don't want to get rid of our background. We like the background. Let's ungroup this from the component. And let's get rid of the big text. Let's get rid of the rings. We don't need them. Let's just focus on this little text, and let's grab some of these assets over here, shall we? Let's turn 3D transforms off. We're not messing with it. Let's come up here and let's do some sort of payment thing, okay? So maybe I don't know, what should we do? Something that has to do with payment. Oh, okay, I got it. How about this? How about like hold near the reader to pay? You have those like electronic readers in places, and so this could be cool. Something like that. Let's make this text dark, I think, and then let's take San Francisco up to like a medium, and let's center the whole thing. Let's do, shall we, a fake credit card. Like this is your wallet, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so let's take this off, and we have these colors that are starting to build. Why don't we just really quick, why don't we help ourselves out and just grab all of these circles, check how cool this out is, and just add all of them to our color swatches over there, okay? Now we can grab our thing and boom, add that. Now what's really cool is let's bend the corners down and make it look more like a credit card. What's really cool is later on, if I edit this color and I make it something else, it edits everywhere that color is used, which is pretty cool. So I like it. I think that's pretty rad. You know, I also want, I think I want like a lighter kind of purpley version of this color. Can we add that too? So let's do that. Okay, why don't we take our Visa logo? This is an SVG. If you don't know what an SVG is, it's a scalable vector graphic, which means exactly what I'm about to do, which is you can scale it as big, technically speaking, or as small as you want it to be, and it should be fine, although it's having problemos. Bring it out of that grouping. Well, almost do anything we want with it. Almost. For some reason, we can't make it much smaller than that. That's fine. We don't need it to be much smaller than that. Alrighty, righty-dighty. Let's do E for your lips, and let's make some little secure kind of dots here for the payment information. I'll tell you what, why don't we hit Command or Control R, that's repeat grid, and drag out 4 of these things and put them like that. Now we can just copy the repeat grid, and then let's actually bring these in a little bit more. Actually, you know what? I don't like how big these are. I'm going to answer some questions here in a second. I just got to get some of this work done. I got to make some headway here. I don't want to fail you guys. All right, so now we have it. Now let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that with my smart kind of measurements. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. And then why don't we put some numbers? So give me this. Let's drag it up. Make sure it's in front of everything. Fill it with white. And let's pick some random numbers. Okay? Hopefully that's not your credit card. Hopefully that's not your credit card number. What is today? Today is 2020. Okay? Something like that. Okay. Pretty cool. I'm going to group all those elements together for the like the numbers, this credit card number. And, Air Crew says, try using the dashes. Ooh, I don't know. Okay. Yep. Maybe on some sort of shortcut that I wasn't seeing. You know what would be really cool, though, is to have some sort of fun kind of texture or image or something behind this. So, do I have any fun images? I do have some cool images. Why don't we, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to say Command-C, Command, whoa. I want my little card rectangle. Command-C, Command-V. And I'm going to go into my downloads. I just happen to have some images that I downloaded the other day. So why don't I, let me see. I like this kind of swirly thing. So let's bring this in. What is this, like oil art or something? I don't know. It's really cool looking though. So why don't we bring that in and just zoom back in so we can mess with it, okay? I think, no, what we want to do is, let's bring this right here. Let's bring the size of this down. I'm going to grab both of it with the shape in front of it, and I can either right click and hit mask with shape or Command or Control Shift M. That will mask that. That means I can still manipulate the actual image itself, which is real cool, which is, it might be what we want. And bring it back in like that. That's pretty cool looking. I like that. But now maybe we can mess with some of the blending tools like overlay. Ooh, you know what I really liked? I really liked multiply, and then we can just bring it down a little bit. Do we like it like this, or do we want like normal and just actually kind of leave it like that? I kind of, ooh, I just bring some opacity down. It brings a little bit of that purpley in there. Let's just grab, let's lock this back shape. We don't need that. But let's group everything in the card. Let's call this card like that, shall we? Okay, cool. That is a great little credit card. And I'll tell you what, let's get rid of this and bring our little lock item up there. For some reason, when we shrink SVGs, we're getting really, really weird behavior where it like disappears. Why is that? I don't know. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna do a little experiment, Adobe XD, and see what's going on with you. I'm going to export this as an SVG called lock and re-bring it onto my screen and now for some reason it works. That's really weird. Man, that's really strange. So something, the way that it got imported originally, probably the same thing with my Visa logo there, was having little issues, right? Here's a little secret to UI design. Never use pure black. Pure black's a no-no. So why don't we just take, I know it sounds like, why would pure black be a no-no? It's just really intense like that, right? And it doesn't leave you any room later on when you're working to use a darker black color. So whatever this black color is, let's come into here and save it and make sure that we're using that same color on our other black, our other pieces of like black typography, shall we? That way we get really similar kind of effects, okay? All right, you know what we need? We need a blur. For sure we need a blur on this thing because it's kind of just flat, isn't it? So I'll tell you, why don't we grab that background, add a shadow to it. Let's take this shadow and let's make that shadow our purpley color. Yeah, let's add it to our swatches here so that way we can access it here. And then why don't we bring the opacity of that down just a little bit, and why don't we blur it out just a little bit. So we're just gonna get kind of that fun kind of blur thing happening. We can bring the opacity up and down and play with it. Something like that. Okay, it kind of looks like bubblegum. It's so cool looking. Okay, so let's call this first screen we're doing here something like rings. Let's call this payment. Okay, what other kind of screens should we do? Let's do something that has to do with like a message or calling, because we got some calling things down here. I feel like that would probably be pretty successful. Okay, let's do call or message. Let's do a message one where you could like voice activate a message. And before we do that, why don't we take a quick break and answer a couple of questions. If you got questions, let me know. Oh, what's the expiration date and the 3-digit code on the back? That's the CCV. I know, right? But are you trying to take this credit card information? Are you trying to do identity theft something? I don't know. I'm drinking my Legend drink, which is my favorite spicy nootropic ginger drink. Really love it a lot. It's really, really good. I did a whole stream where I redesigned their website. That was super duper fun. Let's see, Air Crew says, why can't all the design tools use the same shortcuts? I know, wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be nice? It's just not a thing though. Somebody asked something about being a UI designer. What kind of skills, Kure says, do you need to be a UI designer? To be a good UI designer, you're designing interfaces, things that we're talking about right now, things we're doing right now. You probably need a decent amount of visual design skills, maybe a background in graphic design. You're going to want to have good typography skills, understand some of the basic design principles like color and size and contrast, shape, line, form, all of those great design principles. If you're looking for a good book, and you've never done design, you want to get into design, you should read the Non-Designer's Design book by Robin Williams. Not that Robin Williams, a different Robin Williams. She's a great author. She writes all about some of the basic things you need to know. There's actually a really funny acronym, if I can remember correctly. I think it's in that book, and it's the word CRAP, C-R-A-P, pardon my French, but it's contrast, repetition, alignment, and position or proximity, I think. Those are like, if you needed 4 and only 4, those are the 4 design basics that you would need to get, to get good design work done. So that's what you need. You need design principles and basics. You need good typography stuff, good use of color, and you just need to experiment and play with it and get used to it. That's what I would say. Okay, let's see. As we are kind of tracking things, I'm gonna go and check and see if anybody has submitted to get their portfolio reviewed. There's a link down in the description where you can get your portfolio reviewed. So if you have not responded to that, I have 0 responses in that Google form. That's where you're gonna get it done, okay? Let's see, what's the font family that you're using on the project? I'm using the San Francisco font family, and that is the font family that is stock or default to the Apple iOS operating system. So you can download that on their website somewhere, on their design got human design-centered guidelines. Okay, cool. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of our little lock, and let's do something where we could maybe, just maybe, whoop, we want to create something where people can leave a message. That could be super fun. So let's get myself out of the way there. Now, here's the thing, again, about designing a watch interface. I don't know, because I'm not an expert watch interface designer, but what I do know is you have to think about it being yay big, right? So that means your touch points, your tap points, things you want people to interact with, they should probably be a little bit bigger, right? They should be a little bit more bold, and they should be easy for you to interact with, really, in the end, because if it's not easy to interact with, boy, oh boy, you're going to have a big problem there. Okay, surprise, surprise. I already had a little plan for this, actually. So you'll notice that behind the first ellipse, I have a couple of other ellipses. So let's do something fun. Let's do a little prototype work here. Let's do something like speak to leave your message, or I don't know, what should it say? How about tap? Yeah, let's do tap to record your message, okay? And then why don't we do this? Why don't we grab this text, and then why don't we make it purple? Just, we're kind of creating a good user experience. We're saying messages are purple, right? That could be a thing. We could have done the same thing back here. We could have maybe grabbed a color and said, like, hey, let's say payments are pink, right? And let's say, I don't know, one of these things up here represents payment, right? So we're just, I don't know, I'm brainstorming fun ideas, but it's nice to start creating systems inside of your design. Now look, all of a sudden things start making sense, right? Whatever blue is going to be later, like playing something, that could be represented on our rings as well. Ooh, that's fun. That's fun to think about. Okay, here's what I'd like to do. We have a little bit of a shadow on here. It's just kind of popping out. But why don't we make it just a little bit more transparent? Why don't we make it that purple? Bring the opacity of it down. I like to bring the x-axis of it down, and maybe see how when we take the blur off, we want to keep it pretty blurred, and the whole, whoa, no, and we want the shadows, transparency, just come down a little bit, right? So notice we have some similarity in shadows going on. We would probably want to come back through and make those really, really consistent. Even your shadows need to be consistent, right? Consistent shapes, consistent colors, consistent, you know, typography. Everything should have an air of consistency to it, all right? Okay, so let's just keep cruising and see what is happening. Again, if you have any questions out there, let me know. I'd love to answer your questions. So why don't we take what we have here, and I'm just going to drag this down. So let's call this message, and this is message 2. Okay, something like that. Do you like XD or do you like Figma more? Grenade Codes asked me. Hey, Grenade Codes, you were in my last stream. I remember you. Thanks for being here. Good question. I like both of them, honestly. I mean, really, they're constantly like neck and neck, right? It's just a feature race. Everyone's just releasing features. I love the prototyping aspect of Adobe XD, and I love that XD ties into the rest of Creative Cloud. So if you use the Adobe CC suite of tools, it's really good. Figma's great because that has live editing, great for big teams. I don't know, they each have their pros and cons. You're gonna have to figure out what's right for you, literally, in the end. So I'm gonna take these other rings and I'm gonna stretch them out like this. Something like that. Okay, and I tell you what, why don't we even bring our microphone down a little bit. Then I'm gonna do a fun thing. I'm gonna head over to my prototype tab. I'm gonna grab the actual artboard itself, not any element, but the artboard. And I'm going to drag down and do a timed transition. What do we want? We want it to take about, I don't know, let's do 1 second and ease out. And we want to auto animate. Okay, now we're going to grab this one and go back. Let's play with that. Let's hit our little house and let's see if you can zoom in and see. It's really small. We have just a little bit of a little animation going on there. It's just a little loading animation that's waiting, right? Which is pretty cool. I hate that when you preview, you can't, right? You can't change like the preview window. That's something that frustrates me. I want to see it actually like mocked up inside of a phone. So that's a thing. Yeah, you could have done that with component states as well. We could have, I think you could. Here, let's take another one of these over here. Yeah, let's try it out. Let's take this component, or excuse me, let's make the button record a component. Come up here to component states. Can we do this with component states? Can we go new state, and let's call this state flexed. And with this state, we're gonna bring the rings out. Whoa, why would you do that to me? Bring that ring out, bring that ring out, take our microphone, bring it in. Whoa, why again are all these elements being weird and wonky to me? Okay, they weren't in the first one, that's fine, let's not do that. But now we have like that and like that. Can we, boy, I don't think you can do this. Let's try it really quick. Can we do, no, see, you can't do timed on a component state. I mean, you could have just used the component state. On time, auto animate, choose the artboard. So timed animations only really work from artboard to artboard. Keep that in mind. You know, I don't know. I feel like for component states to keep growing and be useful, we're gonna have to take into account some of those kind of like considerations. Maybe my workflow there is unrealistic though. I don't know. I can't tell. Hassan says, please check my portfolio. I really want to update it because recently I made an application later on to be added. Okay, sounds like maybe you're applying for jobs. That's really cool. Ask any questions you have about jobs and I would love to answer those. Okay, let me take another sip of my I took too big of a sip. Live stream fail. Whoa, I just totally sipped way too big. So hey, when you drink an energy drink, do it in moderation. My tears, my eyes are literally filling up with tears right now because I drank too much. It was really good though. Joshua Davis, welcome to the live stream. I'm just choking on a spicy ginger nootropic drink. It's probably not my fault that I choked. It's probably because the drink is so spicy. Okay. Okay, that's pretty cool. We did a fun little animation there. And then, let me see. Let's do something. I have an idea. Let's do, we record the message. Let's get rid of this thing here. Let's do, I'm gonna hit a rectangle. Just like that. Where was that really light gray color that we had here? I like that light gray color. I want to add that to my library. If you're not used to libraries, who's laughing at me? Who's totally laughing at me? Choking? Everybody? Okay, cool. If you're not used to using the libraries, they're really, really fun to use. They also, you can use them everywhere, right? So once I create a library here, these are my document assets. I can actually publish this as an XD Cloud document, or excuse me, I can save it as a library here, like this, call it watch, and there it is, and then I'll have all those things I can use in Illustrator, in Photoshop, add things in there, they come back this way, I can use them over here. Pretty cool, pretty fun. So, pretty good. Okay, so with that being said, why don't we, where's our little play button? Let's bring our play button up here and pop it inside, okay? So this could be fun. We want to hit record. Actually, you know what, before we do this, let's do record your message like this. Let's drag that out. It's nice, simple, easy interface to understand, I think, at a glance, like you do. And then let's take rectangle and go down. I'm going to soften the edges of this rectangle and let's fill it with our purple that's been representing our message kind of state that we're doing. Okay, and then why don't we just create some create some of these guys that represent little sound waves, shall we? And I'm just why didn't I repeat grid them? I don't know. Sometimes I repeat grid, sometimes I don't. But these ones I kind of want to like mix up, so there's a little bit of variable here, especially at the end. Like it looks like the audio is kind of trailing off. Okay, something like that. Record your message, and I wish we had like a check mark or something, but we could have a check mark, couldn't we? Let's do this. Okay. Let's come down here. Bink. and we're introducing a color. The color we're kind of introducing is one that kind of represents completion, right? Things went well for us, all right? So after we record, this is our record screen. We're gonna wanna see that message somehow, aren't we? I think so. So, and you know what? This, I feel like, is a little confusing to have a paper airplane inside of it. So why don't we take our pen tool and just draw a check mark really quickly like that, okay? I'm gonna shrink this thing down. What happened at the end of my check mark? Let's try that again. Boom, straight as an arrow check mark. We had some sort of weird little bend down here. I'm gonna zoom in and just fix up my check mark by giving it a butt end like that and rounding everything. Yikes, that's what I did. Let's drag it down again like that. Let's make this check mark white. Let's increase the stroke so it's a nice big fun chunky check mark so that our icon kind of matches the rest of the things we're doing here. Okay, cool. Now what we can do is let's do something like, how about do you like your message? Let's move this up a little bit like that. And let's zoom in. Let's grab, we have the main rectangle. We have all these other ones. Why don't we just, oh, you stinker. Let's group it together. If we group it together, it messes up all of our thing. That's really frustrating. So that's a pain in the butt. So let's just get rid of these and make some space here, shall we? Yeah, let's make a little bit of space. So this is the message. Boop, 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 boop. Good. Let's use this one to represent the message, actually, I think. Boom. And bring this guy in. And we're still using that purple. The purple's still hanging on. It still has meaning for us as the message. Do you like your message? We could actually break out from this being a button, and we could then just make it purple like that. That's kind of cute. I kind of like it. And then, okay, if we do... group that whole, whoa, did I just quit XD? No, I didn't. Wow, that was crazy. Okay, if we like that, then we can send it. Yes, we can send it. And who do we want to send it to? So let's go, this is our approve screen. Let's do one more, this being our send screen. Okay, so let's get rid of this and let's do something kind of fun here. I'm gonna do R for rectangle and drag a rectangle out and bring this in there. And I think what I'll do is I'm just going to do a little bit of a drop shadow. It's gonna be really light. Look at that. See how light that is? And then I'm gonna bring my message thing above and fit it in and just go, okay, this is where my message is kind of staying like that. And let's get rid of this. Now what we'll do is we'll just do simple avatars and names and we'll be pretty much done. We got a couple of fun screens built today. So let's just fill this with a color so you can see what I'm doing here. And I'll tell you what, let's take our text, bink, just like that, and go like Jennifer Michaels. Okay, that's a name. And let's left align these names. Let's make our avatar a little smaller just for the ability to fit them, right? It could be something as simple as that. So let's group that together. Command or Control R for repeat grid and drag down a bunch of these. Now what am I gonna do? I'm gonna grab all, yep. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna ungroup it from the grid. I'm gonna grab all of these names, just like that. I'm gonna head over to my plugins. Let me get out of the way here so you can see. I'm going to my plugins panel down here, and I'm gonna go find a plugin I really enjoy called Content Generator. What's it gonna tell me? I need names, both male, female, both. Let's go both. Very cool. Now I'm gonna grab all of these avatars. I'm gonna use another one called UI Faces and select some photos. And hopefully what it's going to do is go out and grab a bunch of photos for me. Yes, let's just randomly fill with 7 of these photos. Boom! It put a bunch of people in for me. And pretty cool. Now what I want to do is just grab all of them, group them together so they stay I want them to stay on the actual, yeah, I want them to stay on the actual thing. You know what we could do? Stay in the actual interface is what I meant to say. Let's add stack to this, because then what we can do later on is we can just move these ones around. So if we really like a certain one, we can bring it to the top. Like for instance, put Stacy up at the top there. No problem. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then what we could also do is we could turn on horizontal, or excuse me, vertical scroll groups, and down to there, just like so. Okay, so now what we can do is, like, when we bring up this interface, we can actually scroll through them. The only problem being we want this little top navigation deal to be on top, and it's fixed when we're scrolling, right? So look, now we can scroll and the names scroll behind just like that. That's pretty cool. Okay, pretty fun. Again, we're gonna want to, if we wanna, let's just finish up and then we'll do some portfolio reviews here. Let's just finish up by, all of these have a background rectangle to them. We could just grab all of them, everything in each one of these artboards like that. Just make sure that background thing is unlocked, because we want to start grabbing them and making sure that we can turn them into components. Okay, so watch, just grab them, component that right there, grab them, component, grab everything, make a component, grab everything, make a component, grab everything, make a component. Why? Because it's go time. Because now we can just take our watch, right, and excuse me, I'm just gonna take the watch here, whoop, like this, and we can just duplicate that watch out. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more times. Okay, boom, 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 like this. And then we're gonna come to our components, and look, we have all of our screens. Now you're like, well, why don't you just figure out like an easier way to do that so we don't have to turn these all into components? Well, here's the cool thing. It's like right now what we're doing is we're getting ready to present all of these little watches, but if the design changes later on, because they're all components, it'll change, right? So look, now we have these really cool presentations, right? Look exactly how it's gonna look inside of a phone. But if later on, check it out, we go, you know what? I really think that this ought to be pink. What happened to our mock-up? What just happened to our mock-up? Boom. Everything changed inside of it, right? So that's the benefit of mocking everything up, or turning everything into a component before you mock everything up. I'm just grouping all these together. It's just so easy now. Cool, look at that. We can bring these up close by, get rid of the elements we don't need. Again, we want to move our credit card around. Look at that. Okay, if we're like, you know what would look really cool is if we turned on here our card. Well, we can't do that right there, but that's okay. Let's make a component out of it. Yeah, so we can have some fun. We can play with it. If later on we wanted to export, which I totally would do, actually, before I would do this, I would totally export this as a PNG. Here's an easy way to cheat this right now, right? I could bring my card back in, get rid of this, okay? Put my card in there, turn on my 3D-ness, and then I can be like messing with the card a little bit and like playing with it. But look, oh, at least it should have. Oh, wow, I might have messed something up. Something weird happened. Anyways, you get what I'm talking about. You get the idea. But that is a fun watch interface that we've created today. Let me know what you guys think of it. What would you have done different? Let me know. Sujith says he got introduced to Figma and learned it while participating in a hackathon and won in all 72 hours. Thanks to my videos. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Sujith. I'm so appreciative. I'm so happy you won the hackathon. That is a great way to learn, by the way, is to go to a hackathon and challenge yourself. We have so far, just one portfolio submitted. If you want to submit your portfolio for review right now, you can do that down in the link down in the description. Go ahead and submit your portfolio there. But we got one we're going to be taking a look at here in a second. Joshua Davis says, when I start a stream, you got to stop whatever you're doing. Watch. Yeah. Pay attention because I might choke on a drink. It's really, really good. All right. Very unexpected stream. I thought it was for tomorrow. Yep, Joshua. So I'm going to start streaming on Fridays. Always on Fridays because I want to have Saturday completely off to spend time with my family, to rest and enjoy my time. So that's why I work on Friday. I'm going to stream on Fridays. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll start sending out more notifications beforehand. But thank you. I appreciate everyone for joining the stream and watching, and for all of your encouragement and cool things you're saying. And for any of you that are in the chat right now that are currently a member, a supporter, or a insider, thank you for hitting that little join button and supporting the channel. It helps me keep going and keep making content for you guys. Okay, why don't we right now, why don't we take a look at a portfolio, shall we? So let's move over here. We have a portfolio that has been submitted by, let me see, this is Hassan Rahal, and I'm just gonna move it up so we can see every single bit of it here. Hassan Rahal is a digital motion designer from Lebanon, okay? So pretty cool. And he's got a Behance portfolio for us today. I think Behance portfolios are great. Hey, side note, if you have an Adobe CC subscription, you can actually, I just found this out, I'm making a video on it because I think it's really, really cool. If you're a designer, you don't have your own domain yet, Behance is great. If you do have a domain, but you're like, golly, how do I create a portfolio? You can take all the work from your Behance and just use Adobe Portfolio, which literally just sucks in all the work from your Behance like this and creates a portfolio for you that's not on Behance, so to speak, all right? But let's see, we have some cool work. Again, a motion designer. I'm not a motion designer. I'll do my best to give you some critique and some feedback, all right? So let's click on this one. It looks interesting. Advertising, social media. I'm gonna turn the sound down. Sorry, so we don't bomb people with sound. Okay, very cool. Ooh, it's quick, it's fast, it's kind of jumpy. Interesting. I don't read this language, but if I did, I'd expect I'd be able to understand what's going on. I really, really like it. Oh, there's some 3D motion right there. Not just, yes, little kinetic typography. Yeah, I'm digging it. Here's what I would say. Again, I am not a motion designer by any means. So take everything I say to you right now with a grain of salt. Here's what I would say about some of what I've seen. Those big like wipes, they're okay. They're okay. But I feel like there is more creative ways to transition from scene to scene. You can use like this typography right here, these blue sections. If you wanted to come from a previous section that had text in it, well, let me see. You want to, yeah, so like everything's just a little jumpy and the wipes are kind of like, for me, distracting. It doesn't even bother me that I can't read the language itself. It bothers me that things are moving around so much and that everything's wiping away versus I would love to see one scene connect to another, right? So I'd love to see maybe the typography that's here on this blue screen, maybe it's that green from the brand or white, and you could zoom in, like the typography actually comes at you and takes over the scene, and now the background is white and something else pops in. So it feels a little bit more like a connected story. I think that's the hard part about motion design, in my opinion, with my limited knowledge of it. See, something you just did there was exactly what I was talking about. Wait, go back. See how you jumped in? Oh yeah, there was a little bit of what I was talking about there. But we just don't want everything to feel like separate. We want it to feel cohesive. And that's, again, I'm not a motion designer, but my feedback would be it just doesn't feel super cohesive. You know what I mean? Okay. This is a mood board or kind of like a storyboard for some sort of project you're doing. Did you illustrate these? If so, really cool. Cool style. I like it. I like seeing stuff that is, you know, a little bit more like conceptual and seeing your conceptual skills. Here's some layout design it looks like you've done for maybe some local companies. Only thing I would say here is watch out for overuse of texture and drop shadows. How much drop shadows underneath these what look like french fries to me just doesn't look realistic, right? I mean, like that'd have to be very harsh source light to get that level of drop shadow underneath those fries. Color would have been a better way to separate, I think. And then also like all the colors kind of blend right now. So maybe they wanted it on this wood texture or background like here, but the whole thing looks very photo unrealistic. So you want to have, you know, just enter subject. When you're doing photo manipulation, it's hard. but you want to enter things into your scene that look a little bit more natural, like they either belong there, or you want to spend some time and separate some of those textures, watch the drop shadows, you know, because I just think maybe they could be a little bit distracting. I want to look, this is maybe like a little logo that you drew yourself. I think you're definitely also like into drawing, and that's got to be like what I see here and the storyboard. The only thing I would say is about the portfolio itself, it says that you're a digital motion designer, but there's a lot of mixture of stuff. So you might want to reestablish. It says, hello guys, searching for a creative graphic designer, motion graphics maker, feel free to hire me. Okay, so you're looking to get hired, and I want to see a little bit more of the process. I want to see, if you want to get hired, I want to know what it's like to work with you. So again, back to this project, all we got was the video itself. Give me a little case study, storyboard it, show me how you got there, why you did the things you did, the choices you made. I want to know why you made them. So that's what I would say if you're looking to get hired. Let's jump back over to my main camera while we look and see if we have any other responses. No other responses, but luckily I did have one other portfolio submission from somebody else. So that submitted it to me on social media. Let's see if we can find, no, I already did that one. Okay, we do in fact have one more portfolio submission. Let's jump over to it and let's check it out. This is Mark Harrington, integrated designer, it says. Okay, we're at mikeharrington.design. Got one of them cool .design portfolio or domains. Now here's the problem is immediately when I hit the page, right, I get this animation. This text is not legible at all. That's a real big problem. I'm gonna be really honest. This background, the fact that it's moving at me right now, stresses me out. It gives me anxiety, okay? It gives me anxiety and I can't read. I'm like, what does it say? So you want things to be clear. So two things, contrast of typography, contrast of background imagery. Be very, very careful with these two. Both of them could be a no-no on their own, but they're definitely a no-no together. I love your logo, side note. Your logo is really cool. And it looks really modern and clean and fun, and it doesn't actually match what I'm seeing here on this portfolio, right? So just rolling over, I get some stuff about work, so on and so forth. But when I scroll down, okay, I'm guessing this is the work, right? We're here. We're just, what are we doing? Okay, we're just hyperlinking or like anchor linking down. Okay, let's look at this FIS, whatever this work is. I'm guessing this goes back to our gallery, back to all the other projects. Okay. Selection from my time at fintech giant Fisk Global. Below is an animation used to promote something else. Okay, so here's, okay. Now, again, here's the problem, right? I clicked into a project. I don't know what type of designer you are. I don't know what integrated project designer means, but now I have to, I'm a multidiscipline designer based in London. I create brand identities, illustrations, animations, motion graphics, 3D. So you're a generalist, okay? So you do a little bit of it all. Okay. There's an easier way to say that. And again, the contrast is really, really important so that I know what it is I'm looking for, okay? Here's, storyboards. This is kind of what we were missing on the other one. So I'm guessing if I was to watch this video, if we could get it to play in this YouTube thing, we're seeing the evidence of the storyboards. Now, this is actually what I was talking about things being integrated, not simple wipes, but using the scene itself to integrate the information. That wipe was okay because it still made sense a little bit. And then, yep, we're going into the text and more text flies out at you. This is a little bit better than the last integration of stuff, but I feel like it's you know, it's solid work so far. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I'm really getting sick and tired of that that homepage. I never want to go back to the homepage, and that's a real big problem, Mark Harrington. You got to fix that, okay? Okay, cool. So this is kind of a string of connection between drug dealers and street dealers. Okay, so so now we are, okay, this is an interesting mock-up. Pretty cool, kind of integrating like the social media into like this scene, which is kind of cool. This is a great mock-up. So this could be like a great example of like mocking something up for a client so they can see it in the real world, which is always a successful thing to do, okay? Yeah, really, really nice. Great presentations. Really nice presentations, you know? And I don't even mind. Like sometimes I would mind that there's not more information kind of like throughout. but you have a little bit of there, little bit of information to read right there. Again, contrast even here, really, really bad though. That needs to get fixed so people can appreciate this, okay? Like Kristen Hawks is saying, accessibility matters. That means visibility, legibility, all those things matter for people who are, you know, seeing impaired or colorblind, you know, so just run it through the ICC, or ICANN, like contrast checker. I think that's what it is. Yeah, run it through that. Let's look at this cybercrime project, and this will probably be our last one. So it's a branding project. Okay, you got some logo elements. Great, beautiful case study. This is great, like backgrounds that you made, artwork. I wouldn't call that artwork as much as posters. Okay, interesting. I would call those deliverables, wouldn't you? Okay, but great. Again, you're really good at presenting your mock-ups. I applaud you. I feel like people need to take that extra time and put them in the real world like this. It just makes what a world of difference to see the project in the real world. Okay, cool. So I'm guessing you did all this really on brand. Love the colors. It matches everything you did here. So this is a great example of you want to be a multifaceted, multidisciplinary designer. This case study is better because what it does is it tells me that you're really good at tracing a brand all the way through every aspect of what you do, right? So we want to see more stuff like this. More video, like more stuff that integrate. This is not the greatest mock-up. The dimensionality of it's a little wonky, but you're really good at bringing this brand tone and vibe through everything you did. But then weird, fake dating website using the romance fraud. Oh, I see. So you made this fake website. Interesting. Okay, really, really nice. I love it. Last thing we'll do is just click and see if anybody else. Oh, we have one more. I feel like we should. Okay, I feel like we should honor it because somebody filled out the Google form. Oh boy, I'm excited we got another one. Let's go back to our screen and see. This will be the last one for the day because now we're hitting 3, and I think that should be our limit. This is Joanna Brood, graphic designer from Krakow, Poland. Very, very cool, and work hard and be nice to people. I like your personal kind of motto and vibe. Here we go. Let's click on a couple of these projects and open them up, Joanna. Let's see what we got. Web design, UI, UX and UI design, WordPress by Joanna Brood. Okay, nice presentations. I like that. Look, there's definitely there's a palette here for the brand, right? And it's definitely not only in the work itself, but in the way that you're presenting the work here. This is good. Good presentation. Really, really like it. You know, it takes a lot of this information when you brand it and add in elements like this. It takes a lot of that information that could be like too long, don't read, and it makes it exciting again. It makes me want to read it. It engages me because you're presenting it nicely. Everything you present, can I just, okay, really quick, because Joanna's inspiring right now. Never put anything on your portfolio and present it in a way that you would not present it in a boardroom in front of 25 stakeholders and investors. It's got to be presented well. Just because it's online doesn't mean you get the permission to slap up some dribble shots if you're trying to look for work, okay? If you're not trying to look for work, do whatever you want. If you're trying to look for work, you got to put your best foot forward, and presentations are the best foot forward, okay? So this is really good. Everything is branded. I'm guessing, I can't tell if these are like supposed to be heat maps. I've got to tell you, these little, maybe that's part of the brand, but it's really, I don't like these little hotspot things. I just do not like that at all, but that could just be me. Okay, top of caring about pets with love. Great little mock-up there. It's a little Web 2.0 with the shine on that phone. We'd bring the shine down on it just a little bit, Joanna Bud, because I really like your work, but I just feel like that's taken a step back into the past. So, okay, got some like user personas, cool information architecture that you did. So now you're really showing your chops in UX design here. I love it. I get people asking me all the time, how do you do a UX design portfolio? Kind of like this, pretty much like this. Really nice. But again, see how everything is tied together? Everything is presented, right? Like you could have just slapped these things, these designs in flat. But I would challenge you and say, why don't you brand these wireframes? Why can't wireframes be branded? They could, couldn't they? I think they could. So take that, maybe even that little extra time, but really, really nice. I love the work. It doesn't feel too long. Don't read, you know, it feels really good. Let's appreciate this. I appreciate all the hard work. Another good one, maybe a little bit tiny to read. Yeah, let's go full screen on this one. I like the actual graph paper like vibe of these wireframes. That's, for some reason, that's just really nice to see. That becomes its own design element. And also, look, you have a little bit elements of the branding that drip into this. You know what's really cool is when you zoom out in Behance and look, you can see this whole layout. So this whole layout was done in Figma or XD or Sketch or Photoshop or something this long, and it became one long design that was just cut up into pieces, and then it's either one long image or it's separate images for upload speed time. But really, really nice. Everything's connected. Joanna, really good. I like it. The colors in this project are, for me, a little bit on the rough side. I don't like seeing working on top of these types of colors. These icons down here, the contrast sounds a little hard, but the presentation of the work is really, really nice. I would love to see this project maybe redone to be a little bit more modern, a little bit more neutral, but really, really nice work all together. I love it. Hey, you guys, everybody, fantastic work today. So thankful for you guys participating in the live stream. Thank you so much for all of your comments, all of your feedback. Consider becoming a member. Would love to have you as a member. You can either join as a supporter or an insider, and you'll get the finished file from today's live stream after the stream is over, as well as every other design stream, behind the scenes stuff, access to videos before they launch, and my deepest gratitude and appreciation for helping me run the channel. You guys are amazing. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave them in the comments on the playback of this live stream. Invite your friends next time. Let's have a party. Let's hang out. I'll see you right back here next Friday. And per my promise to the Marine from Texas in the chat, it will be a chat, or excuse me, it will be a stream that focuses on planning in-depth wireframes, Figma to Webflow kind of deal. I think that's what we're going to be doing next Friday. So join me here next Friday for that. Hope you guys are having a fantastic week. I hope you have a great weekend. And actually join me next week, because I'm going to be on Adobe Live, Adobe's Daily Creative Challenge, all next week and the week after that. So you can catch me over there on that channel. Love to see you. Love to see you just drop by and say hello on Behance. Hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.